They've been around for nearly 40 years and the racing gets better and better. It's time for Formula V's here at Oran Park Raceway. Earlier on, we caught up with Ian Shivers.
Formula V's been in Australia for 40 years, started here in Sydney and at Warwick Farm. And in November of this year, we've got a celebration of the 40th anniversary meeting here in Oran Park. And yeah, I think it'll be great. It's some of the old cars, some of the people from the past, and it just shows that the category is still well and strong after 40 years. And there's not many other categories that you can actually say are like that, you know, and it's just brilliant. This weekend we had 41 cars entered. The times are just amazing. Everyone's just so quick. I think the top 15 guys like within a second and a half, and it's competition is great. I think it comes down to people getting good value for money. You know, if they spend money to go what they want to do, motor racing, and they can see they get a dollar value for what they're doing. And there's a lot of good categories out there, but you just can't afford to be doing properly. And this you can do it properly at an affordable price.
Highlights now from race 2, and a spot missing from the front row with Ryan Simpson unfortunately losing a wheel on the warm-up lap. Bruce Colby put it in fairly heavily, whilst at the front of the field Porter battled hard. So did Shivers and Zayn El Sayed, swapping places several times lap after lap. On the final lap, Pearce put the move for second place down the inside of Porter, got the move stuck, and then a nice slide into turn number 2. In the end though, no one could catch Mark McHenry, who went on to take the maiden victory for the Polar chassis. It's a new chassis and Mark really loves the Oran Park layout.
I think it's the best circuit probably in Australia for Formula V. We get to tow down the straight, which is fantastic, and the round the back is very tight. It's fantastic. So yeah, really good. Yeah.
So getting set for a start now for the final race of the day here for round 4 of the New South Wales State Championship for Formula V's. This race brought to us by the 40th anniversary meeting in November. Mark McHenry, what a performance from him from pole. Back then to Pearce, Porter, Joel, Ian Shivers, El Sayed, Stott and Beecham up from Victoria. Lingard, Ballard, McGarvey, Blake Simpson, David Cutts. A big drive from him from the back of the bus in race 2 to finish 13th. Then it's Williamson, Porter and Abrahall. Ray Folletti joins me in commentary. Big field and some great racing always from the Formula V's.
Thanks Nathan, great day. 32 cars as they take off. We started with 36 on the weekend, but as usual we've lost a few along the way.
Watch for David Cutts. He finished race number 1 on Saturday in position number 1, but came in unfortunately underweight as we go on board with Ian Shivers. A big drive from the rear of field in race number 2 out of 13th. Watch for him to get to the front of the field, but it's Mark McHenry, the new Polar, that claimed its debut victory yesterday, and the team very excited, Ray.
They were on the hill, and I can see them supporting their driver out there. But after the win, they were all over, extremely excited, jumping with joy, and I was with them, and I'm very happy for them as well.
So it's Pearce in second at the moment, back then to Porter in third. But Mark McHenry, the man that's pretty much redesigned this chassis, it's got some trick bits on it, including a speed car torsion bar rear end, as we take the Shivers Motorsport on board with Ian Shivers off the bridge. Ian showing a lot of speed, and probably, it's safe to say, probably the best season we've seen of Ian Shivers in his long career of Formula V racing.
That's right. Coming into this weekend, he was in 4th place on the championship. Of course, this being the 4th round with 2 more to go after this. But he didn't have such a great qualifying. But that shows really more the competitiveness of all the fields. And oh my, here goes Lee Porter. Lee, you've just given me the opportunity to say it, but keep it on the track.
Lee Porter, of course, the father of Ben Porter, the man that sits in 3rd place at the moment, and I doubt he will get that car out of there. So we may see ourselves with a safety car situation as now we go on board once again with Ian Shivers. He gets into the slipstream, pulls out, and there is Lee, yes, out of the car, and the Porter Motorsport number 54 will not be going anywhere. So I would suggest a safety car, but no, still racing, and McHenry surprising with the lead as Ben Porter down the inside now moves into 2nd place. So the father's misfortune now playing into Ben's hands.
That's right, great move from Ben in the striking black Charisma Joinery Mako. Matthew Pearce has been doing extremely well. He's actually come to form this weekend, solved a lot of technical problems, and yep, they're slowed down. Safety car, here we are, and the red Momo Falcon, a car which I've actually driven. It's a really horn car to drive, is out on the track.
There's the replay of Pearce. Just took it in too hot. The tail of the car spun out. This shows you how quite quick they are going at that point when it fires off the racetrack. So we will be back for a rolling restart as the Momo Falcon brings it onto the main straight. and Mark McHenry will lead them up once again. The trophy race as Pearce gets the tail out a little bit, will cost him a bit of ground. Speaking of ground, Ian Shivers appears to have missed the start deluxe. Look at the gap back there to 5th place. Unfortunately, he's now going to have a lot of work to do.
Oh, look, they've spread out far too far. Too many of the drivers not really prepared for this restart. I think we'll see at the end of the straight, Matthew Pearce will have sacrificed quite a bit of distance as they come into the braking mark. And Mark looks straight, and yet Matthew's lost about 3 or 4 car lengths.
Mark McHenry very excited about the potential of the Polar chassis. They've had a lot of help from Bice's graphic design, who've helped them with the logo design, and as I said, took its maiden victory in race number 2, the first race on Sunday, and they really are looking to do some good things with that new Polar chassis. Darren Mason's going to run a car next year, Mitchell Abrahall's going to run a car, and it's just good to see more of these Polars on the racetrack.
Yep, they're an interesting design, taking a lot of interest, and they've come at the right time just as Formula V's back on the rise again. But I've actually heard a bit of a rumour that there might be a new Jacer actually somewhere in a garage being knocked back together, so there's stiff competition coming up again for all the new chassis out there.
Certainly, of course, this race brought to you by the 40th anniversary of Formula V, which will race will be run here in November at Oran Park Raceway, and the rumour is that new Jacer will arrive at that race meeting, driven by none other than Jason Cutts. David Cutts coming through the field, that is the older brother of Jason, and he is already inside the top 10, so David still considered one of the best racers in the field as Matthew Pearce pulls out now. Ben Porter works for Ian Luff's Motivation Australia. Look at them just signalling. Pearce says, "You want it? No, I'll take it, thanks very much." He slides through to 2nd place.
All right, well, that's the way to bridge